What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Nate Diaz saying it's Khamzat Chimaev's fault that they are not fighting. Nate Diaz is frustrated that he can't get a fight, especially given that he wants to fight out his UFC deal. He's only got one fight left on that deal, and while we thought he was going after a Dustin Poirier bout, it looks like the UFC and President Dana White had other ideas and they changed course. Diaz states he wants to fight out his deal and then move on, either to retire or possibly test free agency. Either way, there was talk that a bout against surging welterweight Khamzat Chimaev could take place. It seems Diaz continuously airs out his frustrations online about getting an actual fight deal done. In his latest tweet, he called out Khamzat Chimaev and blamed the Chechen Swede for being the reason that this fight is not going to take place. Case in point, this is what Diaz stated in that tweet. "I've been trying to fight for a year and months. I also tried to fight Khamzat for the last month and a half, but he was hurt, had visa issues, overweight, and now his bitch ass is off getting married instead of fighting. What the f? I'm trying to get a fight with a real fighter ASAP. July, let's fucking go." It's not confirmed that Chimaev is getting married. If he is, congratulations. But either way, Diaz is clearly frustrated that he hasn't been able to get a fight with anyone since his last bout against Leon Edwards back in June of last year. What do you make of Diaz saying that Khamzat is the one holding this fight up? Paddy Pimblett says he can help Paulo Costa cut weight. Paddy Pimblett loves to enjoy the finer and greasier things in life. The Liverpudlian loves to indulge in between his bouts and balloons up in weight only for him to gradually come right back down whenever he has a fight scheduled. This week, the UFC announced that they've set up a bout between Paddy the Baddy and the Monkey King himself, Jordan Levitt, at the O2 Arena on the UFC London card for July 23. This gives Paddy plenty of time to get back in shape and hit the 155-pound limit. With UFC middleweight Paulo Costa constantly delaying his fight against Luke Rockhold, he took to Twitter to ask Paddy in a tongue-in-cheek tweet for help to make that weight. "Bro, July 23? Help me to make weight like that." To which Paddy responded with this: "Get over to Liverpool, big man. We get you down to 185 in no time, chesty." Costa last made and fought at 185 pounds when he met middleweight champion Israel Adesanya in the octagon at Fight Island at UFC 253. He lost that fight by a second round TKO. Then he took on another former title challenger, Marvin Vettori, in October of last year, but he failed to make weight for that fight. Ultimately, the bout was bumped up for a 205-pound catch weight, but he still lost to Vettori via decision. Now, with the Rockhold fight possibly set for August 20th, Costa is looking to make a statement that he belongs in the middleweight division, no matter how much UFC President Dana White wants him to move up to light heavyweight. What are your thoughts on this exchange between Paddy and Costa? TJ Dillashaw says all Aljamain Sterling has is PED attacks. TJ Dillashaw is not holding back on how he feels about Aljamain Sterling's attacks on him as a person and as a fighter. Sterling called out Dillashaw after he was given a split decision win over Peter Yan for the undisputed UFC bantamweight title. Dillashaw, a former champion of the division, had to sit on the sidelines for 2 years on account of testing positive for EPO, a banned substance, following his fight against Henry Cejudo in January 2019. Dillashaw came back last year and beat Corey Sandhagen via split decision after 5 full rounds. It wasn't a dominant performance, but for someone who took 2 years off and came back to take on one of the top bantamweights in the world, that's not bad. While the UFC has yet to actually make a Sterling-Dillashaw fight a reality, by all indications, this is what's going to take place, and it makes sense. Even UFC President Dana White himself stated that this is likely going to be the fight that they will make for the bantamweight title. While Sterling has been poking fun at Dillashaw testing positive for a banned substance a few years ago, Dillashaw, for his part, says he is not too worried about any of that trash talk. This is what he stated in an interview with Brett Okamoto about it.
I mean, I'm totally prepared for it, and we're all going to see that that's the only thing he's got. I mean, the guy is just, he took one out of Cejudo's book and became even cringier, right? I mean, I didn't think anyone can get cringier than Cejudo, and he's taking it a step further. He's got nothing to all of his trash talk, whatever he's going to say, it's embarrassing. You know, I mean, just same as his striking. His talk is the same as his striking. It's just embarrassing.
Again, the UFC has yet to confirm that Sterling Dillashaw will happen. But what do you think about Dillashaw's comments here? And who do you think would win that fight? Don't forget to take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to stay up to date on the latest fight news. Dustin Poirier trashes Michael Chandler, saying he hasn't beaten anyone coming off a win. Dustin Poirier didn't really care for the comments that Michael Chandler made against him. Not long after beating Tony Ferguson by a devastating teep to the face at UFC 274, Chandler went on the MMA Hour, and when asked why he didn't call out the diamond, Chandler stated that he simply forgot about him, and that he's not a draw anyway. For Chandler, he wants to fight big-time bouts, and he states that he doesn't believe that a Poirier fight is a big-time fight. Well, Helwani played that clip of Chandler saying all those things to Poirier in a recent interview. In his response to Chandler, Poirier did not hold back either, saying that his fight against Oliveira drew at least 200,000 more pay-per-view buys than Chandler's fight against Oliveira earlier last year. But really, Poirier also doesn't believe that Chandler has done enough to warrant getting into these big-time fights. This is what Poirier stated to Helwani about Chandler.
For sure, yeah. We fought he came in, fought. He's never beat anybody coming off of a win in the UFC, Ariel. He's been dropped in his last 3 fights. He's never beat somebody coming off of a win. You know, what is Dan Hooker's last 5 fights and what is Tony Ferguson's last 5 fights? The 2 guys he beat in the UFC. What are their records in their last fights? You know, and I'm not talking trash. I'm stating facts. It's whatever.
He's not wrong. Chandler is 2-2 in the UFC, having lost to Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira. But the guys he did beat, Dan Hooker and Tony Ferguson, they lost fights right before they fought Chandler. In Hooker's case, he had only lost to Poirier the fight right before Chandler. In Ferguson's case, he had already been on a 3-fight losing streak. But what do you make of Poirier's comments regarding Chandler's record and who he's beaten? Valentina Shevchenko speaks on her 9-month layoff. The reigning undisputed UFC women's flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko last fought back in September, successfully defending her title against Lauren Murphy. She put away the tough American in the 4th round via TKO. It was her 5th straight title defense and her 8th consecutive win in the octagon. Now, she's set to take on Taylor Santos on June 11th in Singapore at UFC 275. She explains in a recent interview with Helwani why it took so long to get back into the octagon.
Yes, it was a little injury that I had on my foot after the last fight, and it required 4 weeks, no training, no bothering foot. Yeah, but it went fine. It's healed all the way up, and then we had all traveled to Kyrgyzstan. This for 4 months we were visiting home.
Shevchenko went on to say that she finally reached out to the UFC in February, that she was finally ready to get back into the octagon, and then they offered her, eventually, a chance to defend her title against Santos on June 11th. It's no secret that the Shevchenkos, Valentina and her sister Antonina, along with their coach Pavel, they love to travel and continuously do so. But after years of moving from city to city and gym to gym, they finally got a chance to be in their native Kyrgyzstan for a few months. Now, Shevchenko has a chance to extend her flyweight title defense streak to 7 bouts on June 11th in Singapore. What are your thoughts on her long layoff? And do you think she'll get past Santos in her title defense? Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.